अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन, फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग के साथ आपकी मेज़बान डॉक्टर नसीम इस्लाम हाज़िर हूँ। इनक़िलाब एक ऐसा लफ्ज़ है जो हम और आप सैकड़ों बार रोज़ाना सुनते हैं। कुछ लोग नज़रिए की तब्दीली को इनक़िलाब कहते हैं और कुछ हुकूमत की तब्दीली को इनक़िलाब समझते हैं और कुछ लोग बज़रिए जंग व जदल अपने नज़रिए को मुसल्लत करने को इनक़िलाब कहते हैं। इंसान ने जब पहिया ईजाद किया तो वो एक ऐसी तब्दीली आई कि उससे ज़हन और समाज दोनों ही बदल गया। इसी तरह जब बिजली का बल्ब ईजाद हुआ और पेनिसिलिन का ईजाद हुआ तो वो भी एक रेवोल्यूशन लेके आया। इन ईजादों के पीछे जो मौजूद हैं वो ऐसी शख्सियात होती हैं कि जिन्हें ना नामो नमूद ना ज़ाती नुमाइश की कोई ख्वाहिश होती है। 1960 में एक जर्मन डॉक्टर जो खिदमत खल्क के जज्बे से सरशार थीं, कलकत्ता जाते हुए कराची पे ट्रांजिट कर रही थीं। कराची पहुंचकर उन्होंने जज़ाम के मरीज़ों को सड़क पर देखा। वो जिस जगह ठहरी हुई थीं वहाँ पर जज़ाम के मरीज़ों का इलाज किया जाता था। उन्होंने इन मरीज़ों को इतना बेयार व मददगार देखा और उनके इलाज मालजे की सहूलतें बराए नाम ही थीं। ये सब देख के उनका दिल तड़प उठा और उन्होंने ये इरादा किया कि अब वो कलकत्ता नहीं जाएंगी, वो कराची ही में रहेंगी और पाकिस्तान को अपना वतन बनाएंगी। और इस जज्बे के साथ कि जज़ाम को माशरे से निजात दिलाने का उन्होंने अज़म किया। ख़वातीन व हज़रात, ये अज़ीम शख्सियत, ये ख़ामोश इनक़िलाबी आज मेरे स्टूडियो में मेरी मेहमान हैं। मैं आपका उनसे तारुफ़ कराती हूँ। डॉक्टर रुथ फ़ाओ और उनके साथ तशरीफ़ फरमा है जनाब शकील अहमद साहब। Hello and welcome to the show. Dr. Ruth फ़ाओ, as I was just saying, you came to Pakistan in 1960 and it was really when you saw these patients with the Hansen disease or leprosy that it affected you so much that you decided to stay here. What were the conditions like at that time?
The conditions in McLeod Road were really subhuman.
Okay.
I had seen much misery during the war because I'm the war generation.
Right.
But I haven't seen this drawn out misery without any hope, which I saw in McLeod Road. This was a place where they stayed.
Right.
Where they stayed at this time. We, after the war, always said, now we have to change something, we have to change something. And what shocked me most among these patients who were not my patients, today I would say my patients, they didn't say this. They seemed to have so settled down in the fact they were lepers, so they would remain lepers. And this was
Was it a leper colony here in Karachi, or was it you just saw people on the roadside because you had just entered? Where did you actually see, or you came to McLeod Road? How was it?
Yeah, I came to McLeod Road.
I see.
When I came back from the airport,
right.
This is posh area.
Right.
You don't see leprosy beggars in this area, not
right.
to talk about.
Yes.
Leprosy families or leprosy sufferers who lived there. Mm. Later on, one of my sisters in religion
yes.
took me to McLeod Road.
Right.
This was a Mexican pharmacist.
I see.
Who had come already 4 years before I came.
Right.
And she was instrumental to get me to Pakistan. Because she kept on writing, I need a doctor, I need a doctor, I need a doctor. And I was just ready with my studies.
Okay.
And it was a challenge which I thought was worthwhile to invest your life in.
All right. And so you came here and you made up your mind that you're going to stay here and that you're going to, did you know that you would be able to control leprosy the way you've managed, or you with your team have managed to control it in so many years?
This came much later.
All right.
These dreams. My first motivation really came, I thought, if human beings like me and you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
People who have also only one life to live and then it's over.
Right.
This is what Muslims believe and what Christians believe.
Right.
If they have really to live such a life, then at least I want to share it. I can't sit back and watch it.
Yes.
Now, sitting back and watching, this is the worst, really, what can happen in life.
So what were the changes that you were able to make? How did you how did Karachi become, were you able to rehabilitate them? How did you start? How did you manage? It's such a huge task. How did you manage it?
The good thing is, it managed itself.
Really?
There was so much work ahead of us.
Right.
So we didn't have much time to think. We just started off. People needed medicines.
Yes.
So we had to organize medicines. People needed treatment. So we had to learn how leprosy develops.
And then
population needed to be protected of leprosy. So we have to do something in this field.
Yes. And then were these people, could these people be rehabilitated? In those days, was there actually a treatment available, or is it? There
was a treatment already since 1942.
I see. All right.
But we in Pakistan, we didn't know it.
Right.
So it was only in 60 that people came to know that this is a disease which can be cured. It's a normal disease.
I see.
And then we had a hell of a problem to convince people.
To convince people
that this was a treatable disease.
Right.
As well the public, even the patients. Even the patients in the beginning.
Because from thousands, I mean, it's not a question of just now, it is from thousands of years that it has always been thought of as an incurable disease. Right from biblical times, we hear of these leper colonies, and so it must have taken to eradicate that thought, which has been around for thousands of years, could not have been a simple task, right?
No, that we were successful, I think nobody was as astonished as I myself.
Yourself.
Because I knew the extent of the task, and I knew that we were absolutely normal, ordinary people. We were to 80% government employees. Yeah? We had a very small team of NGO wala in.
Okay, Shakil Ahmed साहब, I mean, आप अब CEO हैं Mary Adelaide Leprosy Center, जिसे MALC भी कहा जाता है. कराची से ये शुरू हुआ था, और उसके बाद अब ये प्रोग्राम जो है पूरे पाकिस्तान में इसकी आउटरीच है, और हर जगह जो जज़ाम के जो मरीज़ हैं वहाँ तक मैंने सुना है कि कोई ऐसा मरीज़ नहीं है जहाँ तक आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नहीं पहुँची है. तो ये एक शहर से लेके पूरे मुल्क तक किस तरह, यानी इतना बड़ा काम ये कैसे मुमकिन हुआ?
इसका ऐसा है बैकग्राउंड कि उस वक्त जो अरेंजमेंट किया गया
जी
वो गवर्नमेंट्स के साथ था. पहले फेडरल गवर्नमेंट के, उसके बाद प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट्स के साथ.
अच्छा.
तो गवर्नमेंट्स ने जो उस वक्त बहुत कोऑपरेट हमारे साथ किया, और उन्होंने अपनी फैसिलिटीज़ हमें ऑफ़र की. स्टाफ जो है वो हमने हायर किया, उसको ट्रेन किया, क्योंकि इस फील्ड में आपको पता है मेडिसिन में भी वैसी ट्रेनिंग नहीं है.
ठीक है.
उसको ट्रेन किया, और फिर गवर्नमेंट ने उसको एब्जॉर्ब किया एम्प्लॉयमेंट में वहाँ पर. और चूँकि जो बेसिक हेल्थ सेंटर्स थे जगह जगह गवर्नमेंट के, वहाँ पे वो हमारा स्टाफ पहुँचा. इस वक्त हमारे 157 सेंटर हैं ऑल ओवर पाकिस्तान.
अच्छा.
और यू नेम द प्लेस हमारा सेंटर आपको मिलेगा. लाइक कश्मीर में लास्ट पॉसिबल जो रोड थोड़ी सी भी जाती है छोटी सी, वो केल है, नीलम वैली में. और केल में भी हमारा
ये
एक्सेस है.
तो शकील साहब ये बताइए कि ये अब जो बीमारी है जज़ाम की, ये अब भी मौजूद, एक तो ये लगता है कि ये किसी पिछले ज़माने की बीमारी है, अब भी ये बीमारी मौजूद है, और ये कहाँ पे, कौन से लोकेलिटीज़ हैं पाकिस्तान के जहाँ पर ये ज़्यादा पाया जाता है?
ये बीमारी अभी भी मौजूद है। एक्चुअली हमने 1996 में इसको कंट्रोल किया WHO स्टैंडर्ड्स के मुताबिक।
ठीक है।
लेकिन जो एलिमिनेशन जिसको कहते हैं उसकी फ़ेज़ हमारी जारी है, और पिछले साल भी हमें नए 503 पेशेंट जो हैं वो हमें मिले।
वो अब भी मिले आपको?
जी हाँ। जो जहाँ तक आपका सवाल है कि ये ज़्यादा कहाँ है,
जी,
सबसे ज़्यादा जहाँ पे थी वहाँ बहुत ज़्यादा कंट्रोल हुई। जो हमारे हिल ट्रैक्स हैं, नॉर्दर्न एरियाज है, कश्मीर है, NWFP है।
उसकी वजह क्या है?
उसकी वजह एंटायरली वो डेडिकेटेड वर्क है कि वहाँ पे चूँकि ज़्यादा ये चीज़ें थी, इसकी इंसिडेंस ज़्यादा था, वहाँ पे उतना ही ज़्यादा काम हुआ।
सही, ठीक है।
अब इस वक्त जो है सबसे ज़्यादा जो है हमें मिलता है, तकरीबन 40% पेशेंट जो हैं वो सिंध में मिलते हैं।
40% पे, तो क्या वजह है कि ये, मतलब क्योंकि कम्युनिकेबल डिजीज़ है ये, क्यों? या
कम्युनिकेबल है
और
डिजीज़,
ये
तो
अच्छा,
इसमें कम्युनिकेबल है डिजीज़ ये, लेकिन ये है एक फोकाई है, इसके सेंटर्स हैं
ठीक
जहाँ
है।
पे कुछ फैमिलीज हैं जिनमें है और उनके कॉन्टेक्ट्स हैं, और अनफॉर्चुनेटली चूँकि इसका इंक्यूबेशन पीरियड बहुत लंबा है कुछ केसेस में, तो बहुत देर से पता चलता है कि ये होता है। और बहुत सारी जगहों पे ऐसा है कि कुछ डॉक्टर्स जो हैं वो नॉट रियलाइजिंग कि ये लेप्रेसी है, उसको एज ए नॉर्मल स्किन डिजीज़ जो है उसको वो लेते रहते हैं, ट्रीट करते रहते हैं। लेकिन जहाँ भी वो पेशेंट को रेफ़र कर देते हैं हमारे पास और हम उसको डायग्नोज कर लेते हैं, then there is no problem. Then we are sure that the patient will be cured.
अच्छा, I'm sure Dr. Ruth PFAU, you must be having so many stories, you know, of so many patients. Could you share some of those stories of patients or cases that you had?
I do have sad stories. I have had happy stories. So it's a question what I should share, just to show, to throw light on how it was in the past.
Yes.
Yeah. There was one patient from a family in Karachi, from a well-to-do family in Karachi. Nobody knew that she had leprosy because the family has been hiding her in the house.
I see.
Finally, she was so sick that she was admitted in the hospital. She improved very well because the treatment is very effective. And then she wanted just to go home for a Sunday. So I gave her holiday for a day because she really was well now. And obviously, whatever happened, obviously they did not let her in the house. So I was called by the police at night to identify a woman whom they got out of the sea.
My God.
So as she had not returned, yeah, I was so afraid that something has happened to her. She had left her purse. She had jumped over the bridge, over there where we have the
native jetty. Native jetty?
Most probably,
yes.
Yeah, over there.
All right.
And she had left her purse down, and there she had my address. So this is the way how the police found out.
That's an incredibly sad story.
Yeah,
but that is, you see, always the issue. People are afraid when they don't understand an
when
illness.
they don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, then another story from Azad Kashmir. We were there with students. So one of the students came very proud to me and said, Shikamila. This was our code work, yeah? So
Shikamila.
Shikamila, yeah. He had diagnosed the new leprosy patient.
Okay,
yeah?
Yes.
And then he demonstrated it to me and said, see, this is a typical leprosy, and this in the middle of the bazaar.
Right.
Now, normally we don't publicize this.
Right.
So I said to him, but you shouldn't talk so loud. So the boy looked at me and said, I have leprosy, then give me medicines.
I see.
Yeah? This was then the other reaction to it. After people had seen themselves this disease can be cured, then we didn't have much to explain any longer.
So neither there was that stigma attached to it, and nor did everybody think they are going to get so disfigured or mutilated.
Exactly. Exactly.
But then again, that is because, you see, but say in the 60s or 70s, there were, you used to see leprosy patient all over Pakistan on the street. They were disfigured and they could not be employed, and people were even afraid, I mean people were afraid to touch them or to have anything to do with them. So it is quite a revolution, a very quiet revolution that, you know, that for one, you don't see patients with such disabilities. And then Dr. Pfau, I mean, are these patients rehabilitated? Can they work? I mean, do you have cases where
there are
people
two. Some of them, of course, are back to work.
Some of them are back to work.
In many, the loss of healing, which otherwise makes it so difficult for the patient to have a profession, was also cured with this new treatment. This is it's a very wonderful treatment. I was myself astonished. So quite a number of them are really utterly rehabilitated.
I see.
I went now to the church on the way.
Yes.
On the way,
yes.
Somebody stopped me, a young man, and said, "You won't know me." I said, "I'm sorry if you don't tell me your name." He said, "I'm the son of one of the beggars of MacLeod Road." He said, "I just have passed my BA." So I only could say, "Mubarak ho, abhi kya karenge?" Yeah. Now he wanted to become a teacher.
Isn't that a wonderful, absolutely wonderful? I mean,
this is really close to a miracle.
Yes.
Now, when people in my surroundings say the situation of women will never change in Pakistan, I say, don't say this. The situation of leprosy patients changed in Pakistan.
Yes.
Why shouldn't the situation of women change in Pakistan?
True.
We don't talk so long about it as we talked about leprosy.
Yes.
Leprosy took us 30 years.
Leprosy took 30 years.
30 years.
Very slowly, I mean, very slowly this change came through. That's why it is perhaps hopefully a more permanent change. शकील साहब, ये जो बीमारी है, इसके इलाज के ऊपर क्या खर्चा आता है, और अलावा दवाइयों के इसके अंदर और भी मतलब खर्चे होते हैं?
पेशेंट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इस पे कोई खर्चा नहीं है।
अच्छा।
एक दफ़ा एक पेशेंट हमारे पास आ जाता है या हम उसको ले आते हैं
जी,
तो फिर पेशेंट का कोई खर्चा नहीं है उसका।
लेकिन आप
हमारा है कि हमारी WHO से हमें इसकी मेडिसिन जो हैं वो मिलती हैं।
ठीक है।
उसके अलावा पेशेंट पे डिपेंड करता है कि किस स्टेज में वो पेशेंट हमारे पास आया है। अर्ली स्टेज है तो सिर्फ वो दवाइयाँ हैं, कुछ अर्सा उसको हमारे पास रहना है, उसके बाद वो चला जाता है हॉस्पिटल में रह के। उसका ट्रीटमेंट जो है हमारे लोग जो हैं उसको फॉलो करते रहते हैं कि इसमें TB की ट्रीटमेंट की तरह नागा नहीं कर सकते आप, तो वो हम इंश्योर करते हैं अपने वर्कर्स के थ्रू कि उसमें नागा नहीं होता है। लेकिन अगर लेट स्टेज में आता है, लेट डायग्नोसिस है उसकी, तो फिर उसमें कुछ इंटरवेंशंस करनी होती हैं जिसमें सर्जरी भी होती है, बाज़-औक़ात उसको कुछ एड्स ऐसी हैं, स्पेशल शूज़ ऐसे उसको देने हैं, उसको हॉस्पिटलाइजेशन उसकी होनी है, तो वो फिर डिफ़र करता है पेशेंट टू पेशेंट, यानी रेंजिंग फ्रॉम से अबाउट 10-15,000 to $1 million रुपीज़ ऑन पेशेंट।
इतना खर्चा वो आ जाता है। अब हमें एक शॉर्ट ब्रेक की तरफ जाना होगा। नाजरीन, एक शॉर्ट ब्रेक की तरफ जाते हैं और वापस आके वहीं से गुफ्तगू शुरू करते हैं।